If you looked at Makkah from space, you'd see a city. But if you could see the spiritual realm, you'd see a pillar of light reaching past the stars. Imagine for a moment that you could see beyond the visible world. Well, look down at the city of Makkah, not just with your eyes, but with a sense of wonder. You would see the familiar shapes of buildings and the bright glow of city lights. But then, something else comes into view. A towering pillar of pure, white light rises from the heart of the city. It ascends past the atmosphere, past the orbiting satellites, and stretches deep into the black emptiness of space. This powerful image is a way to begin understanding a profound and ancient idea. The Kaaba as a portal, a sacred doorway between creation and the Creator. Long ago, through stories passed down across generations, people learned of a magnificent house that exists far beyond the reach of our telescopes. This celestial sanctuary is known as Bayt al-Ma'mur. The name itself carries a beautiful meaning: the frequented house, the occupied house. It is described as being in a place of ultimate purity and closeness to the divine, situated in the seventh heaven. The traditions say its location is not random. It is positioned directly above the Kaaba on earth, a perfect spiritual reflection, a heavenly blueprint for the house built by prophets below. The concept of a heavenly counterpart to an earthly sacred space is a powerful one. It suggests that what happens on our planet, our acts of worship and devotion, has a mirror in the highest realms. Bayt al-Ma'mur is intrinsically linked to the Kaaba. Think of it as the source of the spiritual energy that flows down to the earthly site, making the Kaaba a focal point for all of humanity. It is the original, the archetype, the place toward which the hearts of angels are directed, just as the hearts of believers are directed toward Makkah. This heavenly house is not empty. Its name, the occupied house, tells us that it is always full of life and activity. It is constantly visited not by humans, but by the angels, beings created from light, with their own form of worship and reverence to the Creator. The existence of Bayt al-Ma'mur elevates the significance of the Kaaba from a single point on a map to a terrestrial anchor for a cosmic spiritual axis. It transforms the physical act of pilgrimage into participation in a grand, celestial event that is happening at the very same moment. The idea invites us to expand our perception of reality. Our world is not an isolated sphere floating in a meaningless void. It is part of a layered and deeply interconnected creation. Through its connection to Bayt al-Ma'mur, the Kaaba becomes a symbol of this connection, a spiritual conduit to the heavens. This understanding fills the space around the Kaaba with a sense of profound and sacred presence. One circle moves in the heavens, made of light and spirit. Another circle moves on the earth, made of flesh and faith. This is not a story of science as we commonly know it. It is a narrative of meaning, an invitation to feel awe for the extraordinary mystery this place holds. The image of the glowing Kaaba and the pillar of light is a symbol, a key to the spiritual geography of our world, speaking of a connection that transcends distance, time, and the very fabric of our reality. The activity within Bayt al-Ma'mur is constant and awe-inspiring. Every single day, a vast assembly of angels visits this heavenly house to perform their own version of Tawaf. A staggering number, 70,000 of them, enter Bayt al-Ma'mur each day to circle it in a continuous flowing procession, a river of light around a celestial center. Those angels will never return. The next day, a new 70,000 arrive, and so on for eternity. The sheer scale is almost beyond comprehension, a universe teeming with life and devotion. This angelic procession finds its direct parallel on Earth. Down below, pilgrims perform the very same ritual. At any hour of day or night, you will find people circling the Kaaba, their voices murmuring prayers, their hearts focused on a single point. Just as the angels complete their turn, new pilgrims arrive to begin theirs. Two circles, one of light in the heavens, one of humanity on earth, turn in perfect harmony. The connection between these two acts of Tawaf is what gives the earthly ritual its cosmic dimension. When a pilgrim takes a step around the Kaaba, they are not just walking on a marble floor in Makkah. They are joining a pattern mirrored in the highest heaven. They join a flow of worship that includes countless angels. The boundary between earthly and heavenly becomes beautifully thin. The pilgrims' steps echo the silent, graceful movement of the angels above. They walk counterclockwise, keeping the Kaaba to their left, a unified, flowing current. It turns gently around a still, silent center, a living mandala, a symbol of unity and motion. Despite the crowds, there is order and harmony, like a slow-moving river, a gentle whirlpool. Each person is an individual, yet part of a larger whole, separate journeys merging into one devotion. Differences of language, culture, and background dissolve in the shared pace of the circle. This pattern of counterclockwise movement is not unique to the pilgrims in Makkah. If we look closely at the world around us, smallest particles to the largest structures, we find this same rhythm everywhere. Inside every atom, electrons spin and trace paths around a central nucleus, creating the very fabric of matter. Now let us zoom out. The Earth and all the other planets orbit the Sun, a vast counterclockwise journey when viewed from above the Sun's North Pole. Our planet spins on its axis, creating day and night, while tracing a massive loop through space, creating seasons and the years. We live on a sphere constantly turning, constantly circling, part of a celestial ballet ongoing for billions of years. Our Sun is one of hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way, a giant wheel of stars, gas, and dust, all orbiting a supermassive black hole. Each star completes a rotation over hundreds of millions of years, and our galaxy is one of billions, many spinning in vast, majestic circles throughout the universe. From the electron to the galaxy, this universal pattern can be thought of as the rhythm of creation, a principle woven into the design of the cosmos. Section 7. The Witness in Stone, Hajar al-Aswad. Set into the eastern corner of the Kaaba is a stone older than the building itself. It is known as the Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone. Not an ordinary rock, it holds deep reverence and is surrounded by ancient stories. Many traditions describe it as a gift from paradise, a physical object sent down from the heavens to the earth. It is considered a tangible link to the unseen, a relic from a place of purity and peace. It is said that when the stone first arrived on Earth, it was not black at all, but a brilliant, pure white. Over long centuries, as countless people touched it and confessed their wrongdoings, the stone absorbed the spiritual weight of sins and sorrows. As a result, its color changed from dazzling white to the deep, dark black we see today. This story is not a literal geological explanation. It is a powerful spiritual metaphor. It portrays the stone as a silent witness to humanity, a vessel of divine grace bearing burdens so that individuals might feel lighter and find hope. For many, interacting with the stone is deeply personal. Some strive to touch it or kiss it, following the example of the prophet. Those who cannot reach simply raise their hands as they pass, a gesture of acknowledgement and respect. This act becomes a symbolic renewal of their covenant, a quiet prayer for forgiveness and a connection to generations who stood in that same spot. The black stone remains a reminder that actions have weight and that mercy is always within reach. A journey through the heavens. The heavenly Kaaba, the rhythm of creation, the stone from paradise, all converge in one miraculous event, the Isra and Mi'raj. From the sacred mosque in Makkah to the farthest mosque in Jerusalem, and then upward through the seven heavens. This was a physical and spiritual passage through different dimensions, a direct encounter with divine mysteries. Guided upward, he met the prophets, Adam, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, a procession affirming unity and submission to one God. It culminated in an audience with the Creator, an experience of closeness beyond human language. This journey began from the vicinity of the Kaaba, establishing the sacred house as a launching point, a station for spiritual ascent. The Mi'raj reveals a pathway between the earthly realm and the highest heavens. The Kaaba is a station of connection. It reminds believers that sensory reality is not the only reality. Unseen worlds, higher dimensions, a spiritual cosmos. It is a compass for the soul, providing direction, unity, and a focal point for the aspirations of a global community. Look up and imagine the pillar of light. Feel the steady beat of your heart, connected to the rhythm of the planets, remembering we are part of a much larger turning.